Saturday night is Invicta FC 22, and on the undercard, we see Miranda Maverick return, taking on 50 Cal Holiday. Miranda kind enough to give us a few moments here on Media Day as we get ready for a really big event, one of the biggest events I think that Invicta will put on throughout this year. And it's all about the strawweights, really, leading up to the main event. A lot of strawweight action to keep your eyes open for. And Miranda, you are one of the more exciting strawweights to get that prospect label, largely because of what you did to Samantha Diaz last year. You're a hometown fighter, not fighting out of Springfield, which is not too far. It's funny, I'm from the Midwest, and when I ask people how far things are, Midwesterners give me a different answer than West Coast
That's
people.
true.
In the West Coast, it's like, oh yeah, it's like 20 miles that way. And you're like, oh, that's pretty good. It's like, no, that could take like a day and a half with LA traffic. I asked you how far you live from here, and you said, oh, about 3 hours, so not
Yep.
too bad.
Right.
But yeah, let's go back to that fight last year with Diaz. You got it done, rear naked choke. Really showed off your style, and I think why people are excited and why you got that offer to fight at Invicta. I remember you said you were farm strong.
That seemed to be the theme last time.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that. I mean, that aggression, that nature to really drag people down in the mud and be, physically imposive. Is that what you base your skill on, or base your style on, or was that just an isolated sort of fight?
I mean, it's not that it was an isolated fight, but it's also not what I base my style off of. I mean, I'm used to going with guys that are a lot bigger than me, basically getting bullied around myself. So when I get a hold of another girl, it's not near as much of a challenge. But I've known my whole life pretty much that I was stronger than most of the girls, I guess, in general. And so I just use every advantage I can when I'm going out there to fight.
You're taking on a very tough Cal Holiday. She broke out in the Invicta scene when she stopped Tiffany Van Soest. She also showed a ton of durability. She got hit hard by Van Soest, and while she got dropped, she essentially walked through it. She got back on top and did what she needed to do. What do you think about this fight? I mean, you saw that chin of Holiday. Do you think that she's going to be hard to put away compared to your last opponent?
Maybe compared to my last opponent, I think she is going to be a hard opponent, but at the same time, she was very one-dimensional last time. And I expect her to be coming in here with guns blazing, trying to strike, trying to do takedowns, whatever she decides to do. I'm ready for it. I've trained for it. This has been a tough fight camp for me, and I'm just ready to be offensive in every position I can.
Looking at what we have from last time when we talked, you're a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yes, sir.
And what has that process been like? So I remember talking to you in your sort of introduction to mixed martial arts. You saw it on TV. You immediately started training, and then one thing led to another. Now that you're a pro fighter, winning record 1-0, have you really committed to yourself as this being your job, or is this still something you kind of have to do part-time?
I mean, this is still something that I have to share with other things that are going on in my life, but I do see it as my main job. Like, I see my fighting, that's what I make a priority in my life aside from school right now. I train hours on end, especially for this fight I have. My jiu-jitsu, I've been training it for 3 years, and I just keep on improving. I go to every tournament I can, and I haven't had any trouble with them so far. I compete in the men's divisions as well. I feel like I'm just making this be my career, basically, as I'm getting through school at the same time.
The piece of paper here tells me you're 19 years old, and I remember chatting with you before your first fight in Invicta, and the way you handle yourself is not typical of a 19-year-old human being. And I'm happy you said thank you because it is a compliment. Have you always been like this with things in your life? Do they consume
Pretty much.
you?
I guess more than anything, like I don't get along with kids my own age as much as I do adults and things like that. I've been raised to be more mature, I guess, partly from being a big sister, partly just because my dad is more of a traditional raising type parent, and I've just learned to take on a lot of responsibility. And so everything I go into, I try to put 100% in. I try to get it done fast and hard. School, I'm almost done with my graduate degree, and I've been at school 2 years. Everything I go to do, I just try to get done the best I can.
And I think that some of that maturation that you've gone through in life, to me, from a fighting standpoint, has been aided by the fact that you had 8 amateur fights, right? So at 19 years old, to have 9 total fights between professional and amateur, and I don't know what your competition experience has been like in grappling and whatnot, but like being that you're 1-0 is not an indicator of your fighting experience. This is something that you're really, in a lot of ways, a savvy veteran at, right?
I agree. I also agree that I haven't quite hit my prime yet. I feel like I'm always learning. I've continued to grow between each and every fight, whether it be through my mental toughness, my weight cuts, whatever it may be. My nutrition has improved this time. My strength, everything just seems to keep improving. And the 19-year-old thing, I don't let that hold me back. And people make excuses for me with it, and I just think that's wrong. I'm like, hey, I'm the one that chose this. I'm the one that decided to get in here as fast as I could. And my fights, I probably would have had more amateur fights had girls been willing to take them, but they weren't.
What about the pressure factor? Like, I mean, you made that walk the first time to the Invicta FC cage. You're on Fight Pass. You're fighting not far from friends and family. Do you feel comfortable in the spotlight and with the attention?
I just don't pay attention to it. I try my best to keep my adrenaline and everything under control. I feel like I got that out my first fight and everything. Now I just focus on certain emotions and go in there and think of everything that I've done to go through the fight camp and reason to myself that there's no sense in being nervous or anything. It's going to go down either way, so what's the sense in staring at a crowd and thinking of being scared? There's no sense in it.
I think the crowd is going to be pretty excited for this fight. I mean, this is a great card from top to bottom, and I think there are a few fight of the night candidates. But, the way that Cal Holiday handles herself, the way that you bring a level of aggression to the cage and want to get things done, I think that this is two opposing forces running head on into one another.
I hope so. I hope it ends up being a really exciting fight. I feel like we both have they tried to pair us up, I think, on kind of similar styles, and we'll just see what happens. I think both of us have changed our game and evolved over time, and she said that she wants it to be a bloody battle. Well, if she decides she wants it to be bloody, I guess she can be the one that gets all bloody. I don't care for that too much.
We'll see what happens. She does have that sort of outward speaking about how she wants this to be a fight where
Right.
you feel like some fighters like to get hit, they like to mix it up and whatnot. And she definitely seems to be attracted to a fight, and
Right.
we saw that in the Van Soest fight. She got cracked and she kept coming. What does this fight look like? Do you feel that this could be a fight where before the 15 minutes is done, that we're really looking at whoever wins this fight is the one that has the bigger and stronger heart?
I honestly think fighting itself comes down to a big, huge mental game and how much heart is put into it. I mean, there's talent and everything too, but to get through the hardships, to go one round at a time and just keep coming, whether you're winning or losing, that's a big deal. I don't know how fast this one's going to get over with. I mean, my preference is to just get it done with as fast as I can, but if it ends up being all 3 rounds, it ends up being all 3 rounds.
Well, we're super excited. It is a big night for the 115-pound division. Miranda Maverick looks for win number 2 in her second effort at Invicta FC. Miranda, appreciate the time and best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Perfect.